Good day everyone, Dr. Blob here. So, jiggle physics.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
The Goddess of Victory, Nikke for short, is a very fan-servicey game which main appeal is the fact you can command a battalion of attractive women of different archetypes, personalities and backstories, yet all having one thing in common. They are very advanced androids made out of yellow. I will be honest, fanservice of this ilk has never been my cup of tea, as I prefer good story, gameplay and character development over exposed skin. And while I don't condemn it, I will never say it's something I will fawn over. So that means I have nothing good to say about this game, right? Right? What can I say? Gameplay doesn't necessarily need to come from the jiggling part. Let's get things in order. Nikke is a game set in yet another post-apocalyptic world where the aliens from War of the Worlds thought,
what if, instead of risking ourselves in some unknown ecosystem, we send a bunch of automatons to get rid of everyone?
That alien then got a promotion as his idea saved his whole species. To combat these invaders, denominated as raptors, I see what you did there, mankind developed their own machines to fight them. However, AI development was unable to act as fast or independently as the raptors. Thus drastic measures had to be taken. Human minds had to be uploaded into these machines. While originally it was expected to use whoever could be uploaded into a machine, only females of ages around 15 to 25 could be candidates to the procedure. No rocket science needed to deduce this is but a justification for the overly female cast. Original, I know, but at least there is an understandable explanation for this. I have seen very few games actually taking the time to do so. Thus these women, now denominated as Nikkes, fight alongside a lone commander in order to take back the world. The originality drips from every inch of bones and flesh. While this is the kind of story I normally ignore, mostly because of how obvious they are appealing to the male demographic, no offense to the females who also like this, there were some things which caught my attention. Story and gameplay? No, nothing out of the ordinary as far as I have played. I mean, the gameplay is so basic you could play it with one hand, which I am pretty sure is an intended feature. Now, what caught my attention was the same thing which made me try Arknights in the first place: base management. What can I say? I love collecting materials and make my units stronger. There is a reason I love Warframe collectathon nature despite being such a slow game story-wise. So that got me hooked. Next thing I noticed were the characters. They are very obvious archetypes of various existing stereotypes. Heck, in some cases they didn't even try to hide the inspiration behind them. But there are two things I found interesting in them. First, that the developers thought, what if we actually answered why they are this way? Nikke has a trust system like many other gadgets. Here call it attraction, subtle, which not only increases the stats of the unit, but also reveals part of their personality in a small story dedicated to each Nikke. For example, we have the Chunibyo template number 1001. Nothing out of the ordinary, and you can pretty much guess how she acts and speaks from her looks alone. But her story reveals that this is but a coping mechanism due to the functions she has been assigned in Nikke society. Not to mention there is an actual use for her covered eye. There is a reason for why they are who they are. Beyond, we thought this was cool, /sexy, /cute. This alone gives each of the characters a huge boost of personality in my book, as there is stuff you can learn from them. I mean, it's not Shakespeare, but it is far more than what you see in games focused on fanservice. The second thing being something people call the Fate Geo character development. In short terms, due to the nature of Fate's summoning system, a character's arc can be resolved in the stories they appear in. So even if they die, they can be added as a playable unit with say development, which help improve the character beyond their base presentation. In simpler terms, they are not static characters, given they ever appear in the story. Nikkes have something similar. As uploaded brains, the girls they once were are still part of the Nikkes memories, giving them a connection to humanity, unfinished business to work through, and a reason to fight for mankind, even when they treat them as disposable. Because humanity.
You suck!
Thus, keeping Nikkes away from the stagnation, if just a little. Those very memories are the reason they look human to begin with. as it is explained in the story that they were originally designed as your regular mechs, blocky limbs, fixed guns, and green oil pumping inside. But the human brain was unable to process those machines as their bodies, thus the Nikkes had to be made to look as human as possible, so the brain could adapt and properly function. Again, nothing too advanced as sci-fi goes, but the attempt of an explanation is welcome. And that is what makes me like this game, the honest attempt to make an interesting game by the developers. As a matter of fact, Nikke is but shift of second main game in the roster, with a tier 1 being in development. The part which makes me realize this the most are the game's numerous bugs. At release, the game had an incredible amount of problems, from the simplest of things to downright game breaking. Nothing new for games just wanting to sell scantily dressed girls to hormonal teenagers, right? That is what I will say, if it wasn't that a couple of days later, most of the bugs were properly patched. Not weeks or months, but days. The developers show they do not want to just sell per VL2D and call it a day, but instead choose to care for this game and their player base. Not only do they keep the patches coming, but there are an incredible amount of quality of life features I wish other games will share. Top above them, the level system. While it isn't new for gachas to have some sort of leveling mechanic, Nikke brings to the table an interesting idea. What if you only need to focus 5 characters? Simple as that, just keep those 5 at the top and everyone else will share the same level, no buts or downsides. Granted, you need to buy the spaces needed with the in-game currency, and there are other factors like items and abilities to increase the individual performance of each character. But said items are easy to farm and abilities can be improved relatively often, making choosing your team way simpler. With multiple activities to perform, each with their own rewards and perks, the gacha being surprisingly generous and currency not being exactly scarce for free to play, I believe it to be an interesting experience for most players willing to give it a chance. Is it a perfect game? No. As mentioned, the story and gameplay are incredibly basic, with you needing to take control only during boss battles. Also the whole damage mechanic. See these numbers? They rule everything in game. There is an elemental wheel intended to make encounters easier, yet its impact is pretty much non-existent. No matter how many electric units you bring against a water enemy, if the number is red, you get a 20% penalty, and since the elemental multiplier doesn't apply before the fight, it doesn't affect their numbers, so you will most likely end up focusing on raw strength rather than min-maxing your team. Not to mention the AI's aim is pretty spotty, and some enemies have so much stuff moving in them that unless you don't have a high-end device, you can kiss your FPS goodbye. Overall, Nikke is not what I will call one of the greatest games out there, but that is not what caught my attention, but the dedication. Yes, it is a fan service game with waifus to collect, so what about it? Shift of found a niche and capitalize on it to the best of their abilities. They know what they are selling and want their players to enjoy every second of it. This level of dedication alone being enough for me to keep playing. So while I doubt I will ever talk about it in the future, I will at least acknowledge Nikke as a guilty pleasure of mine. So if you don't mind having yellow shove it up your face, I will say give Nikke, the goddess of victory, a try. Personally, my favorite animation in the whole cast is none other than Product 12. Gotta love those little details. For now, this has been Dr. Blob, thanking you for your time and wishing you a great day. So until next time, stay healthy, Commanders.